So I've been meaning to do this for a little while, but I've held off just because I wanted to see how things played out. We've hit the point now where it needs to be said. We have a very difficult conversation to have. So the survival rate of the coronavirus is between 97 and 99.6, depending on where you're at, which news source you listen to. People are acting like this thing has a mortality rate in the 90%. That is just not the case. If this thing had even a 5%, 10% mortality rate, I wouldn't be making this video. So I got sick at the beginning of January. What we now know about it, what I had ticks every single box for the coronavirus. All of them. The fever, the coughing, the taste getting out of whack, couldn't taste any food, any water, nothing. And for about 3 weeks afterwards, I had a hard time, catching my breath, but doing anything more than walking. Okay. I recovered. I pulled through. A lot of people do. Most people do. At no point, yeah, it sucked, but at no point was I going to say, hey, guys, the world needs to stop. All right. Could you imagine being the person? Hey, world, you need to stop. Jake doesn't want to get sick. All right, everybody stay home. Okay. Jake wants to get sick. Nope. You get to, go bankrupt. You get to lose your business because Jake doesn't want to get sick. No, absolutely not. That is just totally ridiculous. Okay. My boss personally knows 2 people who have already killed themselves because they are not able to afford to live any longer. That is real. That is a fact. There are people out there who are starving and losing everything simply because they can't go to work. Okay? At this point right now, saying stay home to save lives, well, it's just not the case anymore. Okay? Yeah, we've slowed the spread down. That was all it was designed to do. This was never about beating out the virus or just waiting it out, letting it burn itself out. I mean, yeah, there was a perk to that. Sure, that might happen. But the whole point of the lockdown, the shelter in place, whatever you want to call it, was to slow the spread. We've done that. It was to give our medical facilities an opportunity to gather PPE and knowledge on this virus. We've done that. Okay? So at this point, saying stay home, what you're really saying is you don't have a purpose. You're not worthy of living in our society. You're not worthy of working. Okay? You can starve to death. That's really what you're saying. All right? It's also a giant virtue signaling. Like, hey, look at me. I'm staying home. I'm being compliant. Okay? Look, I get it. You want to feel like you're doing something. All right? It's a very, very powerless feeling to know that a virus has been ravaging the land. All right? And ravaging is not even really the word. Yeah, there are people dying, and that is tragic. But guess what? Whether you believe that humanity was poofed into existence 6,000 years ago by a deity, or we crawled out of the trees of Africa, mankind has been dealing with disease and viruses since day one, and that is a fact. Okay? Maybe you're one of the people who's lucky enough to work from home. Hey, that's great. I'm actually jealous. I really wish I could do my job from home. I'm hey, that might have been a change hey, that's great. A large chunk of America can now work from home, and it's been proven. Hey, silver lining out of all this. Cool. Awesome. All right. But there's also another possibility. Okay. I'm honestly suspecting that a lot of people they're getting this little corona vacation, and they just don't want to go back to work. Hey, they're sitting there, they're collecting their $1,200 check, which came several weeks late. And that's enough for them. Maybe they can live off of that. Great. Cool. Good for you. Some of us aspire to be more. Okay. But the reality is we do have to make the decision. And it's a very hard one. We have to choose between potentially risking up to 3% of people, which there are ways that we can reduce that. We can mitigate that. And absolutely sacrificing 40% of all people. There are businesses right now which are going under that are declaring bankruptcy. There are gyms right now that are saying, sorry guys, we don't have, our lease is up and we can't make the mortgage. We have to declare bankruptcy. We have to be gone. There are mom and pop shops who the owners have poured everything, their entire life into, and they will never get that back. And that's what you're saying you're not worthy to have in our society, because a certain amount of us don't want to get sick. Look, I get it. If you're in the high risk category, or people that are, yeah, okay, you might have some high risk factors that you may not end up living if you get this virus. Hey, you know what? You guys stay in quarantine, stay at home, be safe. Absolutely. We'll take care of you. The rest of us, if you're working through this, hey, keep doing what you're doing. But those of you that can, look, it's time to get back to the way things were. It just straight up. We have to do this, or there's not going to be a society left for us to come back to. If you're going to be one of the people that sits there and says, oh, look at those idiots, they want to go outside. You know what? Feel free. You sit home, you stay, you make your choice. But the rest of us, we have work to do. We have to keep this society going and alive.